Well, hi again, Vikram. Anthony Johnson here, the movie brother. Thank you for taking the time out to chat with me today. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. I had an opportunity to check out the saga of Danny Hernandez. For those who don't know who Danny Hernandez is, he is Takashi 69. And I got to tell you, I thoroughly enjoyed your documentary. So congratulations on your new project that's been released on Hulu.
Thank you. Thanks.
So I guess to kind of kick things off, I mean, share with us just kind of, I mean, how did this project come about?
Well, I discovered Takashi 69 like a lot of people as he was gaining fame. And he had a very outlandish and I would say attention grabbing Instagram and a lot of YouTube clips. And so I discovered him like everybody else. And one of the things that I noticed that, very early on was that this was all happening in Brooklyn, and it was happening in places I had seen and walked by, and that I found out soon after that he worked at the deli that I had been in many, many times. And I thought, okay, it's a New York crime story. It's about hip hop, and it's just fascinating for all these other reasons. And so what it just like a lot of projects that I'm attracted to, I just kind of go on a gut feeling. So it really just became a rabbit hole. But I did just start off like anybody else, like kind of intrigued looking in, but I kind of approach almost all those subjects from a filmmaking point of view. And I guess I just happened to be the one that said, you know what, I can make this story happen. So,
Yeah.
and that's really what went down. I just decided to do it.
Yeah, awesome. Now, you're the director and producer of this film, and correct me if I'm wrong, you're also an investigative journalist. Is that correct?
Yeah, well, I spent about 5, 6 years working on the HBO show at Vice. So I traveled to every continent reporting, both as a producer and an on-camera correspondent. So I've covered, terrorism, climate change, gangs in South America, done, black market trades in Asia and Africa. So a lot of what I've done over the last years has been, going, finding an interesting story in a part of the world and just getting on the ground and trying to get it. So that prepared me so much for making this film. I was really excited to find something in New York that I didn't have to travel for. So
Yeah.
that's really my and to be honest, I did 15-minute or half an hour pieces for Vice that were pretty deep for that amount of time. And so I always wanted to really go hard on a story and put the same kind of drive and effort to just capture the story, but to do it in a long form film. And that's what this really represents, is just going hard and really getting to the root of things over a period of time in my home city.
Yeah, I mean, as a viewer, I mean, I think I was definitely able to see that because, at least for me, it absolutely played in a way of, I think you mentioned just a little while ago, of really having to go down this rabbit hole and peel back these layers. I mean, as you got one piece of information that took you in one direction and you explored that further. And yeah, I actually really enjoyed that format. And I would maybe even go as far as to say, even with that approach, I did not miss um, seeing Takashi himself be interviewed as much. Typically, right? I watch documentaries. It's about it's kind of biographical or about an individual. You expect to see them, but I have to admit that I did not miss him as much in the approach that you took. I guess my question out of that would be, was that somewhat by design, or just, I mean, I know you guys reached out to him and his people, and they declined to participate in the interview. But I mean, I guess maybe I'll put it to you like this: how did that affect your approach to making this film, if any, in terms of not being able to include him in the documentary?
You know, I never knew if he was going to be involved in it, and it didn't deter me. I think I just knew that there was so much out there, and the story had so many elements and so many characters that he interacted with. So I went in thinking, hey, we're probably not going to interview him. I also was making this film when he was in prison.
Hmm.
So during that time, none of us knew. I mean, nobody knew if he was going to get out in time. I think there were a lot of people I spoke to who said, yeah, he'll get 5 years. Yeah, he'll get 2 years. Or some people said he's going to get out on December 18th. On the day of his sentencing, he's going to walk out. So nobody knew what was going to happen, and that also is pretty daunting when you're making a doc. So you really have to approach every day like it's a new challenge, you know.
Hmm.
And with the person like this who can sort of manipulate the media and change the story and make an announcement even from prison will be printed in every publication.
Yeah.
It's a wild ride because you really don't know how the story's going to end. So I just went in with the approach like we're making this movie, whether he's in it or not, and let's figure out how to do that in a compelling way. And that's what we set out to do. And it just so happened that he was released, and he was released early because of COVID. So you know, that's the way I approached it. And I just had to go in thinking let's have that mentality. Let's tell the story without actually getting him in there. But also the reality is that the person that he became, the character of Tekashi 69, only exists because of social media. It could only really be there. So we live in a time now where you can really tell someone's story without meeting them. He has his own platform, which is the internet, and we said, okay, this is part of the story. This is what this whole journey is about, and so we kind of embraced that. And then I think the other part is just getting on the ground. There's the people that you meet along the way, the sort of 6 degrees of Tekashi that we're discovering, like they're compelling characters. They have the story themselves.
Right.
And all the fact that he was in court expressing all the details, some of that audio leaked. It just all made sense that it was possible to tell this story and to have an interview decline and still tell a really compelling story. And to be honest, I think in a lot of ways, his interview doesn't dominate it. We're really hearing from all the people who were there in the moment while it was happening to get the perspective that we hadn't heard.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and it's told in chronological order, and hearing from all of those individuals, right, those characters, we get to, as an audience, get to see the different facets or aspects of this individual. I mean, you actually answered my next question of, does Tekashi 69 exist without social media? And I think the answer, it sounds like we both agree that probably not. And it's
I
just a
mean,
very,
if you're watching a concert, you can't tell if that guy has tattoos on his face. So it's really about the hero shot with them. It's really about the shock value. I think that only the internet can really propagate.